Hello, viewers. This is Michael from Scooby Views, bringing you a new podcast from my technical The Super Sentai Review. And like always, I'm going to speak very loudly, very clearly, and very slowly, because you don't understand me. Also, I'll try to do my best not to be so hard during this our podcast recording as well, not to cause any audio feedback as well. Also, if you're under 18, this audio podcast recording will change to adult language. Once again, if you're under 18, this audio podcast recording will change to adult language if you're under 18. Now, if you're over 18, that means that to watch this audio podcast recording. Now, what this everything out of the way, let's get into the latest episode of Gozyuger. So basically, this episode starts off at the Bardo headquarters. So basically, we see the Bardo gang just hanging out, and basically, we see Bouquet, hanging out with Revan, putting a green bouquet on her head and whatnot, and basically just being a big sister and whatnot, hanging out with her little sister Ribbon. Biocannon was just hanging around, looked like he was doing some cleaning and whatnot. As for Miss Sweetcake and Shiny Knife, they was having a conversation, and as usual, the doors behind them, that the Tega head open, and Tega did not say anything. So anyway, Mr. Shiner told him that, you need to, I know ever since Ribbon came along, you had spending most of your time with Ribbon, but, you had to go make sure that, you make sure you go, maintain to do your maintenance around here. So basically, yes, I will do that. So anyway, I'm gonna go make sure that make sure that certain things are maintained. Or I'll highlight you later, Ribbon. And Ribbon, once Bouquet laughs, Ribbon decides to go off by herself. She said, I'm going off by myself, to go. I'm going off by myself to go cause some mayhem and whatnot. All right then. Well. And Firekin was like, and Firekin is like, what the hell? You gonna let her, let Ribbon go on by herself across mayhem in the human world? And basically, Mr. Street Kate and China Life was like, oh wow, we gonna let her do, let her do what she do. So basically, she doesn't really need a babysitter at this moment. So anyway, meanwhile, back at the Tega Sword Cafe, we see how, who was minding the cafe, and basically that the Toei producer Sakimoto showed up, and basically I've been looking for you, so I finally found you. So basically how I thought, you're gonna give me back my job at Toyo, and it's like, no, you're still fired, but I'm here for another interview. So basically, there's about a follow-up interview, what's been going on with you and the rest of the Gozyuger. So basically, this is for the flashback. So this is pretty much most of this episode is just a flashback episode, and basically and how right now I'm not in the cafe. I don't know. And basically Sakamoto was like, hey, remember that I gave you that Sentai ring, so basically you owe me a follow-up interview. So basically, alright, so basically, so basically how I was talking about the others, the other Sentai warriors that they met up to now, and up to now, who've been helping them, or who's been helping them, who's not been helping them, and whatnot, etc. And basically, while Hal was doing this interview with Sakimoto, back at the Bardo, back at the Bardo, Firekin was still worried about letting Ribbon do her, letting Ribbon go to the human world by herself without any of them backing her up. And basically, whatever. So basically, then we got a flashback of And then we got a flashback that about about with Mr. Shiny Knife, situation with the catechism and whatnot. He used to be a member of the catechism before he joined the bridal and whatnot, and how and basically he started to talk, started had flashbacks about Claude and his situation, and, basically having their own flashbacks and whatnot. Anyway, meanwhile, back at the so basically back at the cafe, how was the spring anything up to now about the different Sentai warriors that they met and fought against, and befriended and whatnot, and basically that's what Sakamoto said. According to my think about Sentai race, according to my research, that when it comes to the ring count in the Gozyuger, you are in first place, and basically, Sansumi and Rashino are tied to second place, and and Kinjin are in third place, and Ryoga is in last place with no Sentai win. What the hell happened there to Ryoga? So basically, he explained that he defeated Ryoga for Sentai wins, and Ryoga quit being the Yellow Ranger for a while, and basically he did came the Yellow Ranger again, etc. To explain that situation, and basically once he was done explaining that situation, meanwhile we see Ribbon busting up a party and eating up this party with all these sweets and whatnot, and basically threatening some people and whatnot, and threatened to turn them into her slaves. So anyway, Hal had gotten word from the telephone about that situation, and basically he left Sakamoto at the cafeteria, and basically him and the others morphed up and went to stop Ribbon, and basically that's when Sansumi transformed into Tegasword Unicorn, Gozyu Unicorn, and basically force Ribbon to retreat back to the #1 world, and basically a giant Mr. Shiny Knife and Miss Sweet Cake showed up to try to even the score, and basically Machino and how combined Tegasword with Whiteburn, with Goodburn, and formed Tegasword Whiteburn Mecha Megazord, and took down and forced the giant size Mr. Shiny Knife and the Sweet Cake to retreat back to the #1 world as well. Anyway, after after that, Hal came back and he saw Sakimoto messing with his ring box that he keeps on his Sentai rings, and basically he wants to be a Sentai warrior, and basically can I use one of these rings to become a Sentai warrior? And Hal was like, no, and basically said, Sakimoto said, don't be stingy. So basically he tried to one off, but one of Hal's Sentai rings, and the episode ends with Hal, chasing after Sakimoto, the producer from Toei, and basically that's how the episode ended on this note. So anyway, this was pretty much a clip show and whatnot. So basically, this episode is pretty much a clip show. So basically, it was an alright clip show anyway. But we get to see, at least we got to see the Tegasword Gozyu Unicorn suit in action in this episode as well. So anyway, this episode was a good clip show and whatnot. It had some good humor in it and whatnot. And anyway, it was alright. So anyway, what do you guys think about this latest episode of Gozyuger? Good, bad, or just okay? Please let me know in the comments below. Anyway, signing off for Screw Reviews 1.